Sri Krishna says, based upon your position in life, based upon your talents, based upon your dispositions, each of us has a different yajna to do. When you perform yajna to the Lord, all the devatas become pleased. You don't need to individually worship them. Who are these devatas? The god of rain, Indra, Agni, Vayu, the god of the ocean. So these devatas are elevated souls. They are taking care of God's creation. These are not the supreme God. They are posts. One soul by meritorious deeds has attained that state. And when he dies, he empties the post. Somebody else is now given that post. So the Vedas inform us that all these devatas, they change at the end of one manvantar.
Bhagavad Gita Shloka chanting is followed by translation and commentary by Swami Mukundananda.
Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantah shreyah paramavapsyatha.
By your sacrifices, the celestial gods will be pleased, and by cooperation between human and the celestial gods, great prosperity will reign for all. Sri Krishna says, when you perform yajna, all the devatas become pleased. Who are these devatas? Devatas are souls who are in charge of God's administrative system. See, he doesn't wish to concern with himself over details. So he puts various souls in charge of different functions, and it gives those souls the opportunity to become more capable and competent in discharging these functions. So for example, a country has got its administrative system. In America, you have various secretaries, finance secretary, the industry secretary, etc. In India, you have the cabinet of ministers. So there's the agricultural minister, the industries minister, revenue minister, etc. So the revenue minister is a post. It is not a soul, it's a post. Somebody gets that position for the duration of the government, which is 4 years, 5 years. And when the government changes, that post is taken away. Now somebody else becomes the revenue minister. So that is a post. Similarly, these are posts. Indra, Agni, Vayu, the god of rain, the god of the ocean, the god of the wind. These are not the supreme God. They are posts. One soul by meritorious deeds has attained that state. And when he dies, he empties the post. Somebody else is now given that post. So the Vedas inform us that all these devatas, they change at the end of one manvantar. Manvantar is, this is Kal Yuga. So it's a cycle from Satyug to Kal Yuga. So that is called a Chatur Yuga. 4 yugas together. Now when 71 such cycles pass by, that is one manvantar. So at the end of the manvantar, all the celestial gods change. Now in Brahmaji's one day, there are 14 manvantars. So this is the 7th Vaivasvat Manvantar going on. That means 14 times all the devatas are going to change in Brahmaji's one day. So these devatas are elevated souls. They are taking care of God's creation. They are discharging various functions in His government. Now, Sri Krishna says that you don't need to individually worship them. Otherwise, there are so many devatas. How many will you worship? 33 crore devata, right? Just like there are so many departments in the government. Now, do you go and offer your tax to all of them? So many interesting departments. Research upon roads, now they are doing just that. And research upon some environmental conditions, they are doing just that. So now there are hundreds of departments, and ordinary citizen doesn't go and offer taxes to all of these. He just offers his income tax. Did you file your returns? So you give your tax in one place and the government distributes it. Similarly, either you start worshipping all the devatas, or you simply worship the root of it all, which is the Supreme Param Dev. Archite Deva Deveshe Shankra Chakra Gadadhare Archita Sarva Deva Suryata Sarvagato Harihi. So if you have worshipped the Supreme Lord, you have automatically worshipped Sarva Devasur, all the devatas. Saint Kabir says, Ab aaye is ek mein, dal patte phal phool, Kabira piche kya raha, pakad liya jab mool. When you have a tree in front of you, you can either think of watering each leaf, but the tree will still dry up. It's best to offer the water at the root, and it will automatically reach the fruits, flowers, twigs and branches. Similarly, the root of this all is the Lord Himself. When you perform yajna to the Lord, you need to do nothing else. You are perfectly situated. In fact, the Varnashram system states that there are 5 debts, 5 rin, that are incumbent upon everybody who's in this world. We are indebted to the ancestors, because of which we have a body. So there's the Pitri Rin, the Bhoot Rin to all living entities. After all, the earthworm is also making its contribution, because of which the soil is becoming fertile. The Nri Rin to all other human beings. There is the Dev Rin and the Rishi Rin to the great sages. So all these 5 rins, debts, and we have our ways of discharging these debts in the Varnashram system. So you find people, symbolic, offering rice to the ants and grain to the birds. At least they are satisfying their heart that I am discharging my debt to all of them. But the Bhagavatam says, Devarshi bhutapta nrinam pitrinam na kinkaro naya mrini charajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam paririthya kartam. Devarishi bhutapta nrinam pitrinam na kinkaro. That person who has dedicated his works to God is no longer a servant of these 5 debts. He has watered the root. So Sri Krishna says, Arjun, if you do your yajna, you will automatically satisfy all these devatas. Sometimes people have this doubt You know, Swamiji, I'm worshipping so many devatas, and I came to know from you I should worship the Supreme Lord. If I worship the Lord, will all these devatas, Indra, etc. get annoyed? I'm fearful. Will they get annoyed? You know, first of all, if they get annoyed, then they are not devatas, they are demons. And Sri Krishna says they will be pleased. But if by chance as a Leela they do happen to get annoyed, the Supreme Lord will step in, as he stepped in during the Govardhan Leela. The Brajvasis used to worship Indra. The Supreme Lord had descended. And in his time, his avatar Kal, people were worshipping Indra because it was an agrarian society. So Indra provides us the rain, and because of rain we get grain, and by this grain we subsist. So Indra must be satiated through this regular process. So Sri Krishna said, listen, if this goes on while I'm here, in future people will raise a question, what is your teaching of the Bhagavad Gita when your residents of Braj were worshipping Indra? So Sri Krishna said, this must be stopped. And he instructed them all, not at all. This Govardhan is the veritable form of Vishnu. You engage in worship of it. Indra, as a pastime, pretended to get annoyed. And he sent forth the Samvarta cloud that poured torrents of rain for 7 days. But then the Lord lifted up the hill to protect them all, and thereby established the eternal principle that you only need to worship God. That is the yajna that He expects from us. Each of us has a different yajna to do. You have varieties of yajnas based upon your position in life, based upon your talents, based upon your dispositions. When you utilize all of these in the service of God, you become perfectly situated. So this is the wonderful message that we have received today in this 3rd chapter called Karma Yoga, the science of working in divine consciousness.